Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to my channel, Travel to Money. In this video, I'm going to talk about house sitting, how you can use it to travel the world with free accommodation, how you can use it to live rent-free in your local area, and how you can also use it to make a profit in the right circumstances. I'll also talk briefly about using house sitters if you are a homeowner, and I'll tell you about my experiences with house sitting. Plus, I'll show you the site I use and some of the listings available. If you are new here, I have created this channel to help you learn about how to travel, adventure, and have fun on the road to financial independence. I have traveled the world, I own a couple of houses in Spain, and I'm on a creative journey to financial independence. I believe the road to financial freedom can and should be fun. I hope you'll subscribe and join me on this journey no matter where you are starting from. Back in 2014, I was sitting in my basement apartment in Parker, Colorado, when I got a text from a coworker of mine with a link. I had no idea at that time that the link in that text would be such an inflection point in my life. Sometimes you learn about something, and it's not the thing itself that is so incredible, but the ability of the thing to open up your mind to possibilities that you never imagined before. That's what this was for me. The link led to a blog about a woman who was traveling the world, and it cost her less than $14,000 per year because her primary form of accommodation was house sitting. I don't remember everything about that blog, but I do remember some key components. She mentioned that when she began traveling, that there was a particular country that she was interested in visiting, but rather than focusing on traveling to specific locations, she focused more on finding good house sitting opportunities. Specifically, she mentioned that she looked for places where she could stay for longer periods of time. By doing this, she reduced the cost of travel because she wouldn't have to travel as frequently. She said that at that point, she still had not traveled to the country that she first wanted to travel to, but how thankful she was that she had visited so many places that she never would have if it wasn't for house sitting. The light bulb moment for me was just the thought that traveling the world doesn't have to be expensive. That blew my mind. And even though house sitting hasn't been my primary source of accommodation once I began world travel, reading that blog about house sitting is the reason for all of my inspiration around budget travel. It caused me to dream, to start imagining what world travel could look like. It is because of options like house sitting that I believe it is fully possible to travel the world and still work toward financial independence at the same time. Not waiting to see the world until you're retired at 65 years old. This became the dream. Before I get more into my own story with house sitting, let's just cover what exactly house sitting is. Usually, house sitting is used by a homeowner due to the needed care for pets while the homeowner travels. Pets are not always involved. Sometimes there are other needs like tending to a garden, but most of the time it has to do with looking after a cat, a dog, or multiple pets. But there could be any other number of homeowner needs. Every house sitting opportunity is unique. I want to briefly address that you should definitely not sign up to watch after people's pets if you are not someone who likes animals. It's totally fine to sign up for gardening or other opportunities, but I just think it's really important that care for the animal is the primary focus, not simply free accommodation. Before reading that blog, I had house sit for people, but I never thought about it as an exchange of value. I was usually doing it as a favor for a friend and would often even get paid for it because it wasn't exactly a convenience for me to house sit locally. The cool thing about living in this time where we have access to so many exchanges online is that of course there would be sites dedicated to this type of exchange. My favorite site has been Trusted House Sitters. I believe I've been a member now 3 different times. I just joined again last year as both a house sitter and a homeowner. There's a link in my bio if you want to check it out, and just so you know, I do get an affiliate commission if you sign up. But I also think it's important to tell you that I just joined as an affiliate because I've already been talking about them for free for the last 5 years. When I first went to their site, I was literally floored. I could not believe some of the house sits available. Beautiful views, towns all over the world, some really precious animals, swimming pools, you name it. Now, you don't have to join in order to scroll, so be sure to check it out just to see what I'm talking about. You only have to become a member if you actually want to reach out to one of the homeowners about house sitting for them. I think the lowest level membership for just house sitting is $129 per year, and then they offer other levels if you want certain perks. Okay, so let me talk about my experience house sitting. I was initially planning to house sit during my first world travel adventure. I got a little nervous and ended up booking Airbnb stays instead. I decided to come home early from that trip, and the only problem was that I operated my house as an Airbnb, so I didn't have a place to stay for that bit of time. Suddenly it hit me. I should look at house sitting opportunities in my local area. I ended up finding the perfect house sit. A lovely couple who lived about 20 minutes from my house had a beautiful home on a huge lake with a dock and needed me to watch after their two cats for a 2-month period. The benefit for them of me being local is that they didn't have to worry about me having travel plans that might fall through. I already had my own car in the area and I knew the local area well. I so enjoyed my time at their home, loved their cats, and get this, I was renting out my house as an Airbnb, so I was making a profit on my house while I got to stay in a house that was nicer than mine for free. So I have a couple of thoughts about local stays. One, if you own your own house and you wanted to make a little money while you build up your house sitting profile, you could apply for house sits and rent out your house on Airbnb only on the dates that you'd be house sitting. Obviously, this isn't for everyone, but could be a great opportunity for you to try out both of the platforms. Two, if you don't own your own house or you're just not interested in operating your home as an Airbnb, I'd still recommend trying out house sitting locally just to build your profile and have an idea of what's expected. This will give you the opportunity to get some reviews under your belt. I've done 2 other house sits through trusted house sitters, and they've also been local. One of them was a couple of hours away in the Sarasota area. The lesson I learned in that situation was to ask more questions about sleeping arrangements and also to ask questions about expectations. In that situation, they had me and my friend sleeping in the 2 kids' rooms on futons that were not very comfortable. It was fine because it was a short stay, but I wouldn't want to do that long term. The other thing that irked me was that in the review she left for me, she mentioned that she would have liked for me to send her more pictures of the animals during our stay. And it was worded as a bit of a criticism. The reason that irked me was that I would have had no problem sending her photos, but she didn't at any point let me know that she had that as an expectation. Maybe it was just a lesson I learned about how the community operates in general. If you are an experienced house sitter, maybe you can let me know if that is a common expectation. I just felt like if she expected that, she should have communicated it. I honestly was trying not to bother them because it was Christmas and I knew they were visiting family. I just found it to be strange, like, lady, I can't read your mind. Anyway, I think the lesson I learned is to ask more questions about expectations so that I can be sure that I've done my part in making sure that everything is clear between both parties. Now, you might also be interested in this platform as a homeowner. The various plans allow you to choose house sitter, homeowner, or both. If you have a beautiful home in a stunning location, you might be surprised how many people apply to house sit for you. And keep in mind that you might want to open this up to someone even if you don't have pets. It can be nice to have someone look after your garden or even just be there to make sure your home is safe while you travel. Well, I'm not going to get too much into how to create a house sitting profile because I've done a short video on that before. If you haven't seen that yet, you can check it out right up here. Another thing I have found to be awesome is that people I've house sit for will ask me to come back and house sit again. I've heard of other house sitters that have created such a demand for their service that they not only get free accommodation, but are also able to negotiate having their transportation paid for or even getting paid for their services. Now, I do think if you pet sit locally, that is more often paid for, but you usually aren't being paid for these exchanges on platforms like Trusted House Sitters. Why don't we take a quick look at the site and see some of the house sits available? Instead of selecting specific dates, I like to use the duration option and only look at house sits that are 1 month or more. Of course, that is up to your preference. As you can see on the right, it will show you a map with how many house sits under your filters are available in various locations. Let's take a look at house sits available in France. Here is one for 8 days and the location looks incredible. I'm in Florida, so I could check out just my city, or maybe I want to look at house sits available across the state. Here's a house in a neighborhood not far from where I live, and they have multiple dates listed. As you can see, there are all kinds of opportunities to house sit all around the world. This is such a great way to travel the world with free accommodation. Even if you have the income to travel without house sitting, why not stay in some of these amazing locations, have the company of sweet pets, and instead of spending money on accommodations, put that in a brokerage account or other investment. There is definitely a lot of opportunity here. Don't forget to check out the link in my bio if you want to do your own search on the Trusted House Sitter site. And let me know in the comments if you have ever tried house sitting or if you'd be willing to try this kind of adventure. And don't forget, even if house sitting isn't the answer for you, I do hope it will at least inspire you to dream about what travel can look like for you. Do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to join me every day where travel and adventure build financial freedom. I can't wait to see where your dreams will take you.